kept it. And then this is the big incident, really. He gets a nick on the laces here, Jed Spence, and then I think the referee's trying to allow him a bit of time. You can see here, he takes his boot off. Clearly the referee, I think at this point, he's saying, right, that's enough time, we're 30 seconds, play on. I feel it's harsh on Spurs, I've got to be honest, because he's playing an important part in terms of where that ball's going to be delivered, which is right here. That is where Jed Spence would be. So for me, I feel like the referee should have given him a little bit more time to get in. I know there's going to be an argument against that.
I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here, but there will be some people going, how much more time do you need to allow someone to put on a boot?
I get that, absolutely, but I just think the position he was in...
This is after the goal, he's still there.
Yeah. And again, that will probably be another argument. Why does he not just get himself back in, defend the situation and then do it after? I just felt that the fact that the linesman was in such close proximity, could have just sent a radio over and just said, look, give him another 5 seconds, 10 seconds to get back in. I think it's harsh, I've got to be honest.
And Fabian Schar touched on it. He said, I didn't know there was a rule when you have to wait for somebody to do their boot up. The truth is, there is no rule, because obviously clubs would exploit that and teams would say a couple of minutes to go, just pretend your laces
I don't think he's deliberately time wasting, Jamie.
No, exactly. You know, and I think there's almost an unwritten rule between players that you just wait. You know he's doing his laces up. Tonali knows.
If he'd have given him an extra 10 seconds, do you wait a minute? Bearing in mind, people want the game to be fast and they don't want a whole load of time wasted. And I'm sure Spurs fans are probably angry at it tonight. Yeah. But if the role would have been reversed, would they have wanted an opposition player taking a minute to do their boot?
Why I think we both agree on it is that if he hadn't done his laces up correctly before the game, we'd all be going, well, it's your fault. But that his stud, Alanga's stud, got caught in his boot, hence that's why it brings the laces up. So it's just, you can't put the boot on properly, so you need to loosen the boot to get it on. Look, is he in a rush? No, he is pretty relaxed about it. He's not quickly doing it, but he probably just thought, well, you know what, they're going to give me time to get back to my position. They didn't. Obviously, Newcastle exploited it, and it's had a big impact on the goal.
Okay, let's go on to the second goal, which again there is a whole load of Oh, we're just showing the boot one more. Just in case you haven't had enough of one man tying a boot.
Well, I will say about that, once that situation has occurred, they do need to deal with it better.
Absolutely, right.
100%.
100%, Joey.
This is the second one, and again a little bit of lack of communication, but other things here as well for you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a risky ball out into Xavi Simons, and then this is the end result. Obviously, the ball gets played in. Kinski again, for me, whether he's given him a shout or not, we don't know. But for me, Danzo's got to clear it. This is the big one for me, though. He plays a ball in to midfield here. Xavi Simons on his heels, but look at his recovery now. If you track him, it's just a jog. There's no urgency, and when the ball actually comes back in here, if he's bursting a gut to get back, he could potentially get a little bit of a challenge in, and after that it's just a mess, isn't it?
100%. No, he's spot on with that. Joey's got to do better. What I will say, one of the other players that's got under the radar is Howe. He's been fantastic defensively. He's very aggressive. He goes and presses. It's too strong for Xavi Simons, and the ball comes in. Woltemade, it's a neat header, obviously, but just look at the goalkeeper here. Look, what is he doing? Stay in your goal. If he stays in his goal, he'll catch the ball so simply, because there's no way you can get enough purchase on that header. You can see it just dipping down. He'd have put his hands up, caught it, rolled it out, and the game could have started. Two big mistakes from the goalkeeper, and he struggled tonight.
He's been a great signing, hasn't he, Woltemade? So he's got 6 goals already. And because he is so different, it means there is no comparison with who was there before him. You can't compare.
No, and I don't think there's too many players in world football you can compare him to. He's very unique in terms of his stature, and again, I think people would associate that with just maybe going in early and direct and win it, but he's so much more than that. His feet, he's got an elegance about him. He brings people into play, and I think what they've done really well is matched him with what they've got in wide areas, because he is going to come a little bit shorter. And yes, Isak could do that, but he could also go the other way. Woltemade's never going to run away from anyone, but then when you've got that pace in behind him, or one of those midfielders making that run, I think it makes him so dangerous. I mean, he's settled in amazingly well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the obvious comparison, someone that I played with, was Peter Crouch. Peter was very similar to him, because as you said, Joe, you think, well, let's keep hitting him direct. But Peter had such a lovely, subtle touch. He could bring the ball in tight. He could do little Cruyff turns. He did a Cruyff turn on Paulina after about 15 games, sent him to the cleaners. And it's just lovely little touches like that in tight areas he could dribble. Peter could do very similar. They had very similar attributes, because you don't associate someone that's 6'7" or whatever he is having and such lovely close control and such a soft, deft touch. So it's been a really good signing, because they'd have been panicking in the summer because it was so difficult. It didn't get Ekatike, and obviously then your star player there's a lot of unrest at the club, Isak, and you're thinking, we've got to get this right, and they certainly have. Look, it's still a long way to go, but 6 goals at this point of the season, you'd be probably thinking if we get 2 or 3 just to quieten everything down. But you can see the players like him. He seems like a really lovable, good character, which is something that Eddie Howe was massive on. He doesn't just want good players, he wants good people at his club, and he's been a really good signing.
Well, let's hear from Eddie Howe now with Natalie.
Team performance, you guys are through to the quarterfinals. How pleased are you with tonight?
Really pleased, because I think when you make the changes that we did, you hope to see a performance that's in line with our identity and our expectations, and I thought we got both today. I thought the pressing early on in the game was outstanding. I thought just the general attitude of the players was very, very good.
Yeah, 8 changes from last match. When you make so many changes, how much do you rely on the patterns and everything you created throughout the years, even when you have new signings as well incorporated to this team?
I think with the way that we work, we like to think that every time, regardless of how many changes we make, every time we put the team on the pitch, that they'll deliver a Newcastle performance in line with our expectations. But it's most important that the attitude is right from minute one, and there's that will to win that you need, and we had. And I thought individually some really good performances. Collectively, I thought we were strong.
There's been a lot of talk about their set pieces, improving, attacking and defending. So how pleasing was it to get that first goal from a corner?
Yeah, something we've worked really hard on lately in our game, and I think we've got the height and the power to cause teams problems. It was great to see a great delivery from, I think it was Sandro, and Fabian's header was top class. And I think he's always had a goal in him. He's always got that creative edge to his game, and it was a great moment for him.
There was a lot of frustration with their players after, apparently because Spence didn't have enough time to return to his position after tidying up his laces. Of course, there's nothing in the rules that says that he should take the time, but can you understand their frustration?
I'm actually not aware of the moment you're talking about, so I'd need to see it before probably giving sort of a full understanding of it.
Nick Woltemade scoring again. We were just talking to him. What's been key in him adjusting to the team so well, and the team adjusting to him, because he is a different type of striker compared to what you guys were used to in the past few years?
I think firstly his attitude again. I think he's come in very open to new ideas, very open to delivering what we need him to do. So he's absorbed all the information we've given him, and he's been very good tactically, I have to say, and that then has enabled us to play in the way that we want to. Then I think once you get that framework, then you can develop his skills, and he's got unique ones. He's got very, very strong game. Great to see him score today, because all strikers need that confidence, and that will do him his confidence again another lift, and hopefully settling really well.
Yeah, when you talk about him tactically, he really likes to drop deep. How many other possibilities does it open for other players to attack different spaces? It creates other opportunities for you as well, doesn't it?
It does. When you've got someone that good technically, you want them to get the ball at their feet in attacking areas, and I think that's the key thing. We don't want to take him too far away from the goal by dropping him too deep, but we want him to showcase his creative talents at the same time. So we're still figuring out the best ways to use him, but hopefully we're on the right path.
How much of a privilege is it to have a second goalkeeper like Aaron Ramsdale when things could have gotten a little bit difficult at a certain moment of the match?
Yeah, Tottenham had their moments. I mean, I thought it was an even game in some respects. They attacked well, gave us problems, but Aaron, as you say, when needed, made a number of really, really good saves, controlled his area really well, and I think the added thing with him is his distribution's very good too. So a really good night for him. I'm delighted for him personally, because since he's come to the club, his attitude every day has been first class. There's not been a moment where his enthusiasm's dropped. I think he's delighted to be here, he wants to play for the club, and that was a great game for him.
What would it mean for this club to defend the title of the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, it means everything. We're trying to take it sort of slowly, small steps. We're into the quarterfinals, which I think is a big hurdle for us. We're now sort of entering the latter stage of the competition. We know what it is like, and with those experiences, the two out of the last 3 years, it will serve us well, hopefully. Look forward to the draw. Hopefully we can get another home game.
Well done, Eddie.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get some more reaction from the game we're at St James's Park. Thomas Frank has seen his Spurs side go out tonight. Here he is with Natalie.
Thomas, always difficult to come here to St James Park and face a quality team like Newcastle. So what are your thoughts on the performance overall?
The performance, in many ways, I'm very happy with. I think we went to a very difficult away ground. We created a lot of good opportunities. I think it's one of our better performances in the season. So that performance I'm very happy with. I think the mentality was great from the players. I think we conceded 2 goals, where it was 2 mistakes. I think the first was a mistake from Chris, the ref, because he didn't allow Jet time to come back in, which he clearly should have done. And on top of that, Jet is supposed to mark Schar that scored. So I think that was the first mistake. And the second, unfortunately, was a mistake from Tony.
The first goal, obviously there's not something that in the law that says that he should, but do you think it's common sense? It's just common sense in football? Yeah,
I think it is. And to be fair, hopefully it's very, very rarely I comment on any decision of parents or whatever, but this we need to comment because I agree with you, it's completely common sense to, it's not 88th minute, it's not, this is just get us coming into our position. He's not doing anything on purpose. He needs to do his shoelaces. Clearly, it's gone off the boot. So that's just that little feeling, in my opinion. So yeah.
The second goal. How hard is it to mark a strong presence like Woltemade on the box?
I think we did enough. We just shouldn't have gone for the goal. So I think that situation is just a mistake. It happens. I'm not angry at it. It's just it happens. But I don't think that was too hard. He got a first contact. You would actually just catch it on the line.
As you mentioned, you created chances, and many times you put yourself in good positions. Do you think it was at some moments a lack of cutting edge, and does it take time to develop this cutting edge?
I think I agree with you. I think we create some very good situations. I think also Ramsdale had 2 very good saves, the last one on Papasar and good on Richie. And I think we have 6, 7 really good situations where we was like this to get there, and also some situations we just lack the final quality on the day in the pass or the cross.
Why do you think it takes a bit longer to tighten up those final decisions and create more of that cutting edge?
I think it's the most difficult thing in football to do that, to get the relationship to click, to get players up to create those moments in the final third. So we just need to keep working on it.
And talking about one player specifically, Schar, he had a really strong start of the season. He puts himself in the right positions, but sometimes he doesn't make the right decision, the right final call. Do you think it's more a matter of anxiety with him?
I think that's too big a word. I think it's more, as a striker or any offensive player, you need to arrive in the right positions. And I think today he actually arrived in the right position quite a few times. And then is that to be able to repeat it, and then the ball will drop for you, and then you will score.
I think he's getting a bit of stick tonight, is Richarlison. But it's more than just one man, isn't it? I mean, Mickey van der Ven is Tottenham's top scorer. Their second top scorer is own goals.
Yeah.
So it's a collective.
It is a collective, but I think as a number 9, and I think particularly when you are at Spurs, you're going to be judged on sticking the ball in the back of the net. And I think the fact he does get into positions and then doesn't take the opportunities, clearly from his perspective, shows a little bit of a lack of confidence that all strikers go through when things aren't quite falling for him. I mean, again, this is an example here. He just doesn't get his movement right. It feels like it's going to be an opportunity and just misreads where the ball's going to go. Again, middle of the goal, that one's a harder one. He is out of reach of it. But again, it's that bit of anticipation. That's a good chance.
Great chance.
And I think for me, that's the frustration for Tottenham fans. They're seeing a striker who is getting across.
That's difficult. That's unlucky.
But they're not clear-cut chances for sure, other than the header. And he just needs one to almost just fall for him to stick it in the back of the net.
I think, Joe, you're spot on. He's such a streaky striker. He's one of, if he gets a one, then he can go on a bit of a run. But he's playing devoid of any confidence right now. You know, I think it was a good, fair enough question. You know, is he a bit anxious? Is he got that anxiety in front of goal? Yeah, it does feel like he feels he's tightened up a bit. Dominic Solanke is obviously injured at the moment. They need to get him back as quickly as they can and just get a little bit of competition in that striker department. Kolo Muani hasn't hit the heights just as yet.
You couldn't say, could you, at the moment, who Tottenham's... I mean, I suppose it is Solanke, isn't it, if he was fully fit. But nobody's making a case at the moment to be Tottenham's out-and-out number 9.
No, it would be Solanke. I think, you know, he's their best. I think he's their most complete. He showed it last year at times. He was fantastic. So I think he would be. But again, he has been injured a lot, and it makes it difficult when you're trying to pick a team all the time. But they're also... I think what we both would agree on, there has got to be more creativity around it. You know, I think Xavi Simons has got to step up in terms of, is he assisting, is he sliding balls into the striker like you'd really want, or like Kulusevski does. Kulusevski's a huge loss. James Maddison's a huge loss. So they are missing players that can unlock the door. You know, are they getting enough in wide areas to supply the strikers? No. Brennan Johnson will get in at the back post and score a goal. Do I see him make enough goals at times? Probably not. That's something he needs to improve on. Tell hasn't done it as yet. So it's been difficult from an attacking perspective, but defensively look very sound.
I agree, and again, I think I thought it was a disappointing overall performance tonight, but there've been few and far between this season. I've got to say, I think overall, with a new manager, he's trying to develop a new foundation, a new way of playing. It does take a little bit of time. You look at where they are in the Premier League. You know, overall, it's been a good start. Away form's been really, really good. Need to, you know, transform that into the home side of things, but you know, overall, I think in terms of where they started this year, you know, I think they're in a good place to really kick on. They just need to find more in that attacking third.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they got 17 points, 14 of those have been away from home, and they're at home to Chelsea this weekend. So that's a game really where they've got to find a way and be creative and get on the front foot. They were 1-0 up against Aston Villa, losing 2-1. Completely dominated and outplayed by Bournemouth a few months ago, or a month or so ago. So they've got to be better at home. That's going to be a key for me as well, and that's where you need creativity, especially the Tottenham fans. They don't just want to see long throws and corners and set pieces. They want to see just a little bit more.